Assalamualaikum to my dear respected panel, Dr. Alif and Dr. Fitri. My name is Asma Ila binti Rosli and my partner is Anis Nazirah binti Arden. Okay, now I would like to present our research paper. Our research paper is titled Investigating the Influence of Emotionality, Uniqueness, Descriptiveness, and Educability of Dark Tourism Storytelling at Kellie in Shaping Visitor Intentions. This is our abstract for this research. Let me begin by explaining the background of our study. In today's tourism landscape, visitors are no longer satisfied with just sightseeing. They are looking for emotional, immersive, and educational experience, especially at places that hold tragic or mysterious past, commonly known as dark tourism sites. One of the most effective tools in creating such experience is storytelling. Through powerful narrative, storytelling helps visitors form a deeper emotional and physiological connection to the place they visit. It can shape how they understand its history, how they feel during the visit, and even whether they choose to return or recommend the site to others. In this research, we aim to examine how four specific storytelling dimensions, which is emotionality, uniqueness, descriptiveness, and educability, influence tourist behavior, particularly their intention to revisit Kellie Castle. Our study was conducted at Kellie Castle located in Batu Gajah, Perak. The site holds a unique position in Malaysia heritage tourism due to its rich mysterious background. The castle was built by William Kellie Smith, a Scottish painter, but was suddenly unfinished after his sudden death in the early 20th century. Over time, it became known for its tragic history, colonial architecture, and ghost story passed down by locals. Despite its potential, the current visitor experience is limited to static signboards and self-guided tours, which is like engaging storytelling. This gap provides the perfect opportunity to study how strategic storytelling can improve the visitor experience, build stronger emotional connection, and ultimately influence their intention to return. Okay, for the research objective, from these three objectives can help inform site manager on how to strategically use storytelling to improve visitor satisfaction and loyalty, especially for heritage and dark tourism destinations like Kellie Castle. Okay, for the next slide, I will pass to my partner.
Next, I will present about problem statement. The problem statement has 3 points. The first point is underutilized storytelling potential in Kellie Castle has a rich history and a haunting narrative, but lacks a structure and emotionally engaging narrative unlike other dark tourism sites in Malaysia. The second point is the site released mostly on static board and safeguard tours, leading to a less immersive and meaningful visitor experience. And the last point is lack of key storytelling elements. Without elements such as emotion, uniqueness, descriptiveness, and educability, the site may fail to create emotional engagement, reducing revisits, intentions, recommendations, and support for preservation. Next, literature review. The underpinning theory have 2 points. First is theory of planned behavior. Storytelling influence visitor attitude, social norms, and perceived control, shaping their intention to revisit or support dark tourism sites. Second, flow theory. Emotionally and intellectual rich storytelling create deep engagement, enhancing visitor satisfaction and behavior intention. Next, based on the conceptual framework and supporting literature, the following hypotheses are proposed. For the hypothesis 1, the emotionality of storytelling at Kellie Castle positively impact visitor intention. For the hypothesis 2, the uniqueness of storytelling at Kellie Castle positively impact visitor intention. For the hypothesis 3, the descriptiveness of storytelling at Kellie Castle positively impacts visitor intention. And the last hypothesis is the educability of storytelling at Kellie Castle positively impact visitor intention. Next is the conceptual framework of this study. There are 4 independent variables examined: emotionality, uniqueness, descriptiveness, and educability. These represent key dimensions of effective storytelling. These variables are measured against one dependent variable, which is visitor intention, specifically the intention to revisit, recommend the site to others, and support its preservation. This framework is developed based on literature review and tailored to the context of dark tourism at Kellie Castle. Methodology have 6 points. The first is research approach. This study adopts a quantitative research design focusing on 4 key storytelling dimensions. It used a cross-sectional approach through a structured questionnaire to collect data from visitors. Next, population and sampling. The target population is visitors who have been to Kellie Castle. Non-probability sampling or convenience sampling was used. Only those who had visited the site before were selected. The sample size is set at 100 respondents. Next, the data collection. Data was collected through a QR code displayed at several locations in Kellie Castle, including the ticket counter, lobby, and parking area. Participants answered the questionnaire independently via Google Forms available in both English and Malay language. Next, the research instrument. The instrument used was a questionnaire consisting of both closed and open-ended questions. It was designed using simple language in English and Malay to ensure clarity and accessibility for all respondents. Next, the pilot study. A pilot study was conducted with 30 respondents to test the clarity and reliability of the questionnaire items. Reliability was measured using punch alpha with a threshold of more than 0.70, and the last point is data analysis. Data was analyzed using SPSS version 29. Descriptive statistics such as mean and standard deviation were calculated. In addition, Cronbach alpha test was used to assess the internal consistency of the constructs. I will present the demographic finding from 160 respondents who participated in this study. The majority of the respondents were female, making up 59.4%. In terms of age, the largest group was between 22 to 29 years old, which accounted for 53.8%. Regarding education, most respondents held a bachelor degrees, totaling 46.2%. More than half of the respondents were students, which was 52.5%. The majority were Malaysian citizens, with a percentage of 91.9%. Lastly, 51.2% of respondents had a monthly income of less than 1,000 ringgit, reflecting their student status.
Okay, let's continue with the reliability analysis. Before diving into the result, we ran a reliability test using Cronbach alpha to ensure our questionnaire items were consistent and accurate. The reliability score were excellent, all above the 0.70, as we can see at the table. Emotionality score at 0.813, uniqueness score at 0.923, descriptiveness at 0.894, educability 0.892, and visitor attention 0.881. This result indicate that our construct were statistically reliable and suitable for future analysis. Next, we analyze how respondents rate each storytelling element based on their experience at Kellie Castle, as we can see at the table. For emotionalities, the strongest reaction comes from the item "The storytelling made me feel scared." with a mean of 3.83. This reflects that the ghost story and eerie history did create emotional engagement. Sadness was also prominent, especially when hearing about the incomplete structure and the brooded dead. However, pain and anger go lower, possibly due to the less emphasis on clinical sufferings. Okay, for the uniqueness, visitors appreciate the distinctiveness of the castle, especially its link to local folklore and the unfinished constructions. The storytelling made me appreciate the unique identity of the site, scored the highest, 4.22. This shows that historical and cultural uniqueness truly matter to visitors. For descriptiveness, many found the storytelling clear, vivid, and coherent. The storytelling is explained in great detail, had a mean score of 4.04. This indicates that visitors value structure and rich narrative that help them imagine the past. For educability, visitors feel they can use full knowledge. One item states the storytelling fulfills my thirst for knowledge, which score at 4.06. This shows that educational value is strong motivator for tourists in heritage context. After evaluating the storytelling element, we then look at how this influence actual visitor attention. The highest scoring item was I will recommend Kellie Castle to others with a mean of 4.20. This followed by I will revisit and I will visit again with family or friends. Visitors also express intention to share their experience on social media and talk about the site offline. This tells us the storytelling not only extends understanding, but it can also drive words of mouth marketing and return visit. Now let's look at the inferential result. We ran a multiple regression analysis to find out which storytelling element had the most significant influence. As we can see at the table, descriptiveness was the most powerful predictor of visitor intention with beta 0.459 and p-value 0.001, followed by uniqueness with beta 0.237 and p-value 0.014, then educability with beta 0.207 and p-value 0.009. Interestingly, emotionality was not statistically significant with p-value 0.615. This means that while emotionality stories may be engaging, they are not enough to influence a person's decision to return, recommend, or support the site. In terms of our hypothesis, H2, H3, and H4 were support, but H1 involving emotionally was not support. Okay, next let's connect this finding with our research objective. Research objective 1 look at the influence of storytelling elements was support. All 4 elements show positive relationship. For the research objective 2 on identifying the most influence element clearly point to the descriptiveness, and research objective 3 which examine the overall relationship was also fulfilled. So what we can conclude, visitors respond most to stories that are detailed, clear, and immersive. Emotional content can spark interest, but what stays with visitors is what they understand, remember, and can retain. So what we can learn from this, theoretically, this study adds value to the field of tourism and storytelling by providing empirical data from a Malaysia contents. Particularly, site managers should prioritize stories that are well-structured and informative. Techniques like guided storytelling, interactive exhibit, or augmented reality app can make heritage sites more engaging. However, there are a few limitations. The study was conducted at only one site, which is limit generalizations. We used quantitative method only. Emotionally deep could have been better captured with interview or observations. For the end demographic were not explored deeply. and may influence how storytelling is perceived. Okay, for the future research, we suggest expanding to other tourism sites across Malaysia or Southeast Asia. And then using qualitative or mixed methods. Next, exploring the impact of digital storytelling tools such as VR or interactive mobile tools, and also can comparing respondent between younger and older audience or domestic versus international tourists. And that brings us to the end of our research presentations. We hope that the findings we share today have give you some valuable insight, especially into how storytelling can enhance visitor experience in dark tourism sites like Kellie Castle. Thank you so much for watching and listen until the end. If there are any question or feedback, we truly welcome that on Q&A sessions. Once again, thank you and have a great day. Bye.